All right, intro video starting. Well, I guess everybody can hear us, but welcome to the video. Welcome to the stream. We're still testing out the new stream here. Welcome to the video, guys. Welcome everybody in the chat. We got 25. Let me turn this music down. It's a little loud. There we go. We have 25 viewers, man. We got Chris Crypto here live. Let me actually pull up the let me go ahead and pull up my screen here, my interview screen. There we go. There we go. Welcome to the stream, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Yeah. All right. So can you give me like a little bit, like our audience, a little bit of introduction in case people haven't heard of you yet, man? You've been around the community forever, so I don't know who wouldn't have heard of you by now, but could you just give me a little bit of an introduction, man, who you are and what's going on?
Sure, man. My name is Chris. I go by Crypto Chris on YouTube. I have been a part of, well, I bought my first bag of OMI in February. I bought my first VeVe collectibles at the beginning of March. For the longest time, I was really active on Telegram, on Reddit, and on the non-official VeVe Discord. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I really like that Discord. So it wasn't until like months later that I decided to actually migrate into the rest of the community, which it seems to strongly be on Twitter. And then, of course, I'm on the VeVe Discord like every now and then. So I've been here for a long time, and you know, a good amount of people know me. But it was funny when I came on Twitter because I looked like a new person coming onto the scene. But it's like, look, guys, I've been here. I've just been in like different communities. I was more involved with like the Telegram and the Reddit community than like the actual Twitter community.
Yeah, so you kind of started off on like Reddit and stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Were you one of those like guys that trolled the you know, the posts a little bit, or is that where you kind of learned the OMI and everything like that? Because I know a lot of people in Reddit, it's a lot of information, right? So there's a lot of people posting really good pertinent information sometimes not. Sometimes people like to troll, but you know, that's the internet. So that's pretty cool. Then back then, the Reddit was like what? How big was the Reddit? Like 1,000 people back then?
It was under 1,000 for sure when I first joined. I mean, it's still not that many people. I haven't really checked in a while, but yeah, it's small. Reddit is actually my introduction to OMI. I think, and to the VeVe community. I think it was from Wall Street Bets because I was really involved with like the GameStop movement.
Yeah.
I saw, for whatever reason, somebody linked Wall Street Bets to because everybody's trying to find the next moonshot to OMI, and till this day I still don't know the Redditor that introduced me, but sometime in February I saw OMI mentioned in a Wall Street Bets article, and that's how I found out about the coin.
No doubt, man. Yeah, I remember that the Wall Street Bets and the meme coins. We had GameStop, AMC, Nokia, like BlackBerry, like all those. Like it was an interesting time, man. And that's kind of, I started off the beginning of the year paying close attention to that as well before I really. Ironically, we were probably on the same page at the beginning of the year. So that's very interesting. I didn't know that. So were you able to make a little bit of gains with GME and all that? And
yeah, my risk tolerance now is significantly higher than it was at the beginning of the year. I wish that my risk tolerance now was the same. Like, I wish it was like that back then.
Yeah.
Because I told my wife, you know, because we're not in a place to like buy a ton of stuff. You know, like Wells could always take advantage of that. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna risk this. I'm gonna spend like, I don't know, like close to $500 to $800 on GameStop shares, and they were at like $18 a share back in December. And you know, I bought it, and then from there on out, you know, you saw GameStop climb, went all the way to what, 450 or something like that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like obviously that was like a little different than like most things went, but I was like, this is actually possible. Like, you know, the breach of, if I would have like fully went in, it could have completely like changed the way we lived. So I was like, okay, there's something to this, and yeah, I mean, so I was involved for that entire movement.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I actually charted. I got into AMC at like $2. Like they're almost like, it was, you know, they almost looked like they were going to go bankrupt. So it was kind of like, I don't know if I want to invest in this stock. As news kind of like kept progressing, they just announced that they got funding. So I like wasn't able to invest like around 250, $3, and then it went up to 4, and then I cashed out. I was like, yo, I made gains, bro.
Yeah,
Like, you
right.
know, I come from that traditional investing mindset, so I, you know, that serves me really well. You know, I've studied penny stocks and all that in the past, and that's always been funny to get into. But you know, I brought that over to crypto years ago, and it's, you know, all that knowledge and information has served me well. So, man, could you talk about, you know, obviously with Reddit, but like, how were you involved in the OMI token before you were involved in, you know, the VeVe collectibles?
Yeah, so actually, I knew like hardly anything about the VeVe collectibles when I first got introduced to the OMI token. By the way, it looks like some people in chat said they couldn't hear me well. I don't know if that's on my
Oh
end or
yeah,
if
yeah,
on
no, no,
your
no, that's my end. Let me go ahead.
end.
Let me get that jacked up here.
Sure.
There we go. That should be good. How about?
Perfect. All right, so back to that. In February is when I found out about OMI, and I bought in the first time ever at like 0.0018, I think it was, and I found out through Reddit like that this was a token that backed up a NFT company that had an app where you can buy and sell collectibles on it. That was my extent of it. I knew very little about the IPs, very little about the future and all that. I was like, well, this sounds, you know, good. Like it's a token with at the time, you know, something backing it. So I was like, I'll go ahead and buy some, and I bought a decent amount relative to the time, which, you know, thinking back then, in order to withdraw OMI from Bit4X, we needed like a 20,000 OMI sacrifice. So that kind of hurts looking back because the amount of times I withdrew it to Trust Wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw, like you, coming from like a more traditional investing background, I saw it go from 0.0018 to like, even when it hit like 0.0025, I was like, oh, this is, you know, like 15-20%. This is killing it. And then I got it. And then March happened, you know, the end of March. And we hit 1 cent before I knew it. And I was just like telling all my friends, I was like, this is insane. Like, this
Yeah.
is the easiest, like, Forex investment I've ever had in my life. And yeah, so, and then afterward, I mean, it wasn't long after. It was beginning of March. I bought a Stay Puft Man off the marketplace. And I was like, oh, I just spent $25 off on you know, on a digital collectible, you know. And then I
Yeah.
bought a Todd off the marketplace shortly afterwards on the primary market, and I was like, man, $79.99. I don't know, maybe it'd be worth like 150 one day or something like that. Like, again, at the time, just not knowing a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hilarious, man, because it's like that was our mindset back then, right? It's just like, oh, okay, like, you know, we obviously come from that traditional investment mindset. So we're like, oh, this Todd, you know, yeah, it could double in price and I still 2x my gains there. And
Yeah,
like, you know, we're just sitting there looking at the marketplace, like, what is this thing? You know, like, you know, NFTs are popping off for sure. I think people just sold his artwork right around then. And so, definitely some speculation going on. But what was your first collectible in the app?
it actually was Stay Puft Man. I still
Oh,
have
Stay
him
Puft.
to this day, and I'll never sell him. I was I mean, I'm a decent fan of Ghostbusters, and I just saw that one and I liked it, and it was like, again, it was only like 20 something bucks, so like it wasn't a risky. I mean, again, it's laughable now that a $80 Todd was risky, but I was like, I don't know, $80 for this JPEG, you know?
Dude, it's an absolute journey and ride. I mean,
Yeah,
from just the beginning of this year, I can't believe this year is not even over yet, and we're seeing these numbers that we're seeing in the app. And
yeah,
so, man, it's been incredible. I mean, hindsight looking back, of course we all would have grabbed, you know, a bunch of Todds or a bunch of Risos and or whatever,
right.
right? So that it, you know, absolutely crazy. Did you know it was going to blow up like this? You know, beginning of year or
When I first jumped in, like, you know, that month and the next month, I had a lot of expectations for it because it was really cool. I actually, like, obviously the app had its problems, but like being able to buy these and like blow them up in AR was pretty cool. Show them off to my families, put them in a vault, kind of play around with them in my vault, realizing that there was real IPs involved. All of that made me extremely bullish.
Mhm.
I think the only time I got a little bearish was which this is still kind of an issue today, but I have a lot more understanding for it.
Mhm.
Back in March, there was a lot of announcements to announcements, and there was a lot of how can I say, uh, like there's a lot of things being almost promised that weren't delivered on time. Now that I've been involved with the space for this long, and I've been involved with other projects, I realize how good the Ecomi team is actually at trying their best to bring these to fruition. But at the time, again, just from a very objective person, I'm a very like, if we say this time, I like to be on time, you know, and then things not happening the way they should have. The same thing that people get upset with now upset me back, you know, maybe in April. So there was like a month or two to where I was like, okay, well, maybe this isn't, maybe they're letting go and things aren't going to take off the way they should. But I eventually came to my senses, especially getting more involved with the community, like the real communities on Twitter and Discord, and meeting the team more, listening to the AMAs, and then consistently doing the AMAs, because that wasn't always a thing. You know, all that made me a lot more bullish.
Yeah. In the beginning, there's just a lot of uncertainty for sure. And, you know, there's more questions to be answered. Nowadays, we have content creators covering literally like every different angle you can think of, which is an absolute resource to the community. You know, people on Twitter, big Twitter, you know, OGs that are also hitting different angles, and people on Reddit, Discord. And matter of fact, you know, Discord, they do cool things over there too. And yeah. But yeah, it's just like, but we didn't have that luxury, you know. It's like back then, it's like we had to do all of the research, and you know, sometimes even Dan Crothers would randomly just pop into Discord, and we would just try to like annoy him to answer questions, and of course, you know, the team's much bigger now, and it's just different. But yeah, back then it was more skeptical, you know. Definitely, for sure. And I you know, if you weren't a little bit back then, I don't know how, you know, I don't know how you invest, you know, because there's definitely more questions, and being skeptical was more natural back then. But now it's like completely the landscape has changed. So, all right, let's go ahead and maybe we'll do a little introduction to VeVe and OMI, because we have a lot of new eyeballs. We have a lot of new people coming into the community. So I didn't know if you want to kind of, you know, talk about that a little bit. And, you know, I don't know, like, what would you say for somebody new coming into the community, how to get started, and what to expect?
I mean, I still think they're getting harder and harder to get, obviously, but like, I still think drops are so beautiful, and we have so many of them. There's nothing like that adrenaline rush of not knowing whether you're going to land a drop or not. And before you go for one, like, go watch the videos that would benefit you on getting drops. There's a lot of those on the internet, on YouTube, to go watch. But, you know, go for a drop with a high mint. Like, I think Tuesday was incredible, because we had a 60,000 mint. Which one was it? The first appearance of what's his name? The villain.
We had the first appearance of.
I can't believe I'm forgetting right now.
We've had so many drops now.
Green Goblin in the comic. So it was a pretty solid comic, but there was 60,000 mints. So obviously that affected the value a little bit right now, but that allowed 60,000 people to be able to get that drop. So if you're just getting into the app and you're scared and you're nervous and you don't have the money to like whale into some of these collectibles, try to go for drops. And, you know, specifically like high mint drops. And if you don't try to go for drops, and like you do want to get something, but you don't want to spend like a ton of money, just get something that you like. Like, it doesn't have to be something you think is going to 10x or 20x. Like somebody was saying the other day that I think their family liked Adventure Time, you know, and like Jake went up. So that's a bad example. But Finn, you know, was like 50 or 60 gems. Like, buy a Finn, or, you know, if your family likes that, and blow Finn up, show your kids or your family an AR, whatever they're interested in, and then kind of like go from there. Like, the collecting side of it really is addicting.
Yeah, it's almost a little too addicting.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like it's like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. Like, once you like, you see the sets, you know they're there, and maybe you're new, and you buy your first collectible in that set, and you're like, well, the next logical thing to do is complete the set. And then you complete your first set, and you're like, well, the next logical thing after that is to complete another set. Right. And then you just keep doing it, boom, boom, boom.
And then the set side gets addicting. I mean, I have the Star Trek set. I'm not even a Star Trek fan, but like, I have the set that I could probably sell. I haven't looked at it recently. I could probably sell for 500 gems, $500. And I'm just like, I want the set, you know?
Yeah.
So it's funny how VeVe works that way.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I got the Mickey hat off the drop, and now It's like almost 4K. And it's like, you know, the logical thing would probably, you know, to sell it because it's like, man, that's a lot of gain.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah,
but you're
that's
like,
huge.
I just want to keep it. There's
Yeah,
no like logic. You know, the logic is kind of almost out the door sometimes. And for investing, you know, that can be, you know, obviously this is not an advanced, you know, financial investment channel. Like, you know, we're not financial advisors, you know, so educational, informational purposes only. But yeah, it's like at some point you do probably have to take some gains off the table and all that good stuff.
there is
But
what you're saying. There is a psychological side to that because, like, I landed. So the buggier the app is, the more I seem to hit. So I actually got Homer and Bart and the skateboard the first day. And those I'm holding, and I plan on holding for a very long time.
yeah,
Elsa, as eh, with everything around Elsa, and I completely believe in the future of Elsa. I bought Elsa on an auction pretty much right before I made a video on it for 270 gems, a decent mint number. I sold last night for 1,200 gems, and it's something to. I feel like if I landed Elsa on the drop, I wouldn't have sold her last night. But my like flipping mindset was like, just pay 270. I'll take that profit, and if she dips later, I'll buy back later. But it is funny like how that's like psychology works.
it does. It's interesting and it's always ever evolving, you know, with the Master Collectors program. And I think I've changed my strategy like a billion times already by
Oh,
now.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I don't know, you know, yeah, I mean, I still have a couple TODs and I always consider like selling that and I never do. And
They almost hit 2.7 last night.
they almost hit, yeah. And it's just like, man, I'm just going to keep that. I mean,
Right?
yeah, yeah. So it's like, you know, you change your plan a lot. And, you know, I think, you know, you see things like the SR Spider-Man and that's kind of a no-brainer to keep, you know, for the long
Yeah.
haul. But, you know, to some people, they need liquidity. They need those gems to continue to complete sets. So I don't think there's
Yeah,
judgment
absolutely.
for whatever strategy you're doing. I've seen people sell entire things just to, you know, maybe they're going to get a bunch of random comics or, you know, they're going to get a bunch of whatever character they like just because they think in the long term that, you know, that could be a good possible gain there. So,
Yeah,
everybody's
I
strategy is different.
this is where the conversation gets a bit deeper. But I actually just had the conversation this morning with somebody about like uh the average working class person does not have the luxury to hold every single item that they have and continue to participate in future drops. We've only seen like 10 out of like 90% of the IPs that have been released. We have seen some magnificent drops so far, and there's even more to come in the future. So, like, obviously, like people get upset with like people say, like, I sold my Elsa last night or selling other, like, even if they are going to go up in value, but like, the working class person is still going to need to sell collectibles in order to get more gems, in order to
Hmm.
either continue to flip or just get things that they want. Like it's going to, unless you're already very wealthy, then you have the luxury to hold everything that you have just because you want it. You know, Ray Fixie, he's
Yeah.
got
Very
probably
fixie.
multiple, he's got multiple of everything. And at the end of the day, I think like holding is valuable. And in the future, I do believe everything's going to go up. But not everybody has the luxury to have one of everything and just hold it all. Like people
Mhm.
do need liquidity. So I don't know. Random 2 cents.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Like I don't have like all that, you know, I'm not like I don't have a fortune over here just to like dump into you know, all the collectibles and all the sets, you know, I have, you know, bills to pay, family, you know, and kids to feed and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. And I think when you look at it like that, it's like, you know, there's only going to be the top five, you know, 5% of master collectors. Like, it is what it is. Like, you know, so you're going to have to come up with your own, you know, unique strategy or game plan. You know, everybody's going to have their own unique game plan, and you shouldn't be, you know, FOMOing into whatever, you know, big whale over here is FOMOing into because he said so. You know,
Yeah.
no, it's going to come down to what works for you in the long term, and maybe you just like collecting. You know, maybe you're just an actual collector and you really enjoy these brands. And you know, for me, it's Batman. Like I'm a big Batman fan. Like,
Awesome.
so you know, I have a lot of those Batmans and whatever, right?
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah. VeVe definitely brought out my inner collector. Like if you would have asked me in 2020 if I was a collector, I would have probably said no. But thinking back on it now, like I've been a collector since I was a kid, and VeVe brought that back out of me. If you look to the side right here, this is the burger. This shows my age. I got this from Burger King.
I remember that. I
probably
remember that.
in 98 or 2000.
I had that.
So,
yeah.
it's one of it's still my original one, you know.
Oh,
it's
the
like
gold.
the golden ones. I have the whole set from when I was a kid, and I have stacks and stacks of Pokemon cards. All of my good Pokemon cards, all my holos and rares are in a binder somewhere that I'm convinced that my mom gave away or something. But I'm determined to find them one day, because I had Holo Charizard from Gen 1 and some like real cards. But yeah, like it wasn't until 2020. Man. Right? It's like, Mom, I told you that was gonna be worth something one day.
Yeah.
Logan, I mean, not that I knew Logan Paul was gonna hit the scene, but anyways, yeah, like I realized that I have been a collector my whole life, and it's like I got to now I get to relive that as an adult, and like there's definitely a beauty in that side of it too.
Absolutely, man. We got some comments coming in, and we'll kind of hit the questions towards the end, but keep chatting. As you can see, chat showing up on the screen here, so. We'll get to questions in just a little bit, but thank you guys for tuning in so much. Make sure you guys smash the like if you're enjoying the interview and stream. Much appreciated. It helps us break through the YouTube algorithm and get this interview seen. So,
without a doubt.
Yeah. So, what's your hot take on the golden moments?
Yeah. Man, that's a tough one. So, as I've already said multiple times, I did sell Elsa last night. I think the golden moments are probably going to be blue chips in the future. And I think that the long-term value will continue to go up. That said, it is hard for me to imagine, with the amount of additions that there are and with the amount of unique holders, that the floors are going to continue if we hit chaos. If there's another gem squeeze, or if there's another, or if MTL does cause people to paper hand, and the market goes down. It's hard for you to imagine that even with them being blue chips, with unique holders, that they're going to continue to hold the same value. That said, I absolutely think that the future of them is going to continue to go up. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. I think if I had all the money that I, could have, and like it didn't affect me at all, I would just hold everything. Like not like no question at all. Like all this is going to be probably worth more in the future than it is now. But for me, it's like I do have to make moves, and I'm confident in myself making moves. So at the end of the day, I sold Elsa for 1,200. Next week, Elsa could have a floor of 2,000, and people are going to look at me and be like, "You're an idiot." Maybe I turn that 1,200 into 3,000. Making other moves, maybe not. And that's just the way that I got to look at it. So.
Yeah, and there's definitely strategies out there to get to 3,000 pretty easy, or you could just simply land a drop, and you're back in the game. And like you said, you can employ a numerous amount of strategy, because that's kind of what it is right now. It's like a giant chess game, and there's a lot of different moves that you can make in this game right now. And it may not be like that, a year from now, and there's 5 million people on the app, or 10 million people, or whatever the number is next year. But for now, a lot of people think that there's only certain collectibles, or like certain things, the blue chip, because we put a lot of emphasis on the blue chips. But sorry, I'm getting a subscriber. Appreciate you for the sub. I can hear it in my headset. It like always distracts me.
I heard it from your headset.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But yeah, like there is multiple strategies out there, and I know, like, even I put out content on the blue chips, and a lot of other content creators and all that stuff do too. But there is a lot of strategies out there. You don't have to do a blue chip. Like if you're priced out, don't panic. Like there's other stuff you can do on the app. Like don't feel like you can't do anything, because there's still stuff on there, because I see it every day. But yeah.
I had somebody, so the other day I did put out a tweet. And there's always a couple of people that always have something to say. And it was basically like, don't be discouraged if you missed the Walt and Mickey. This is my tweet. Around said, don't be discouraged if you missed out on the Walt and Mickey, because like there's always opportunity to be had. And even if you did get any of the golden moments, then like treasure that. And somebody responded, which by the way, I without a doubt was going to buy Walt and Mickey secondary market when it dropped. I had high fever. I had so many issues. It was gross. The day of the drop, I physically couldn't. Every time I looked at my phone, I would throw up. So it's like something in the universe did not want me to have Walt and Mickey, no matter how determined I was. So I missed out on it as well. But anyway, somebody responded on that tweet, and they were like, LOL, always opportunities, like put in quotes. I don't know about that. It was something like that. And it's like, look, at the end of the day, I think Walt and Mickey is amazing. I won't be surprised if it breaks 50K in a year, 100K next year. Like, I won't be surprised. I'm not saying it will do that. But I mean, Walt and Mickey has a realistic like 10 to 12K floor. Not all of them are selling. People, just because they're listed there doesn't mean that they're selling. That's a 6x from the 2000 floor that we saw the drop of. How common is a 6x in crypto, NFTs and VeVe? You can do it all the time. I mean, like that's great. You know, great for those people that got it. But my point is, in VeVe and all around in crypto and NFTs, you know better than anybody. I mean, you've had a ton of 4, 5, 10x's on this channel that you've shared, and later these. I mean, Illuvium. You've been making ILV videos since it's 6x. So like it can happen all the time. Like opportunity is everywhere.
No, I agree. Brandon Z, Kyle staring into my soul. I'm not even looking at the camera. I'm just Brandon Z is everywhere, man. Shout out to you, man, for just being in the community and being literally omnipresent all the time. But yeah, totally, man. There's plenty of opportunities out there, and like you said, man, we've only seen 10% of like these brands like launch. Like there's still so much more runway to go. Like it's literally insane. And
yeah,
there could be, we've been speculating a little bit, but there could be games, there could be stuff coming. And I think they leaked the Monopoly guy. I mean, who knows? There's just a lot of things and activities that we will probably be able to do in the future that may give you a little bit of a leg up. Maybe it's a game where you can play it, and maybe you have time to grind, and maybe they reward you somehow. I don't know, but we'll see. Sky's the limit. Metaverse is coming. It's going to be around the corner, and everybody should keep their heads up. So yeah. Okay, cool. Now, moving to the next topic. I know you actually brought this up. I had no idea about it. But it is the farming. There's a farming pool with OMI now. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I definitely don't want to like endorse it because I don't know a whole lot about it. But like I don't know why it's being slept on so hard. Like it genuinely confuses me why like no YouTubers are making. I say this as a YouTuber that hasn't made a video on it, but like why it's not being talked about more. Energy, the company has a farming pool, and they chose 19 different cryptos to give 3x value this month. So this month, you normally would get like 100% yield. You would get like 300% yield. And Ecomi was one of the cryptos that they chose. Altcoin Daily is the one I'm assuming that Energy sponsored in order to mention this. And Altcoin Daily actually mentioned Ecomi directly in the video, which I know isn't the first time, but it was just cool to see him mention Ecomi. But yeah, like I've just been brainstorming with it, and I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it because like I know you stake ILV. My devil's advocate side of it is it's on ETH network. You would have to, if you already own OMI, you would have to wrap OMI, which I think that I don't even know if you're able to do right now during this migration. And then you'd have to send it over, pay those gas fees, pay the gas fees to stake it, and then pay the gas fees to unstake it, and then move it back. So I don't even know if it's worth it unless you got a solid chunk of change to do it. Plus you get paid in RNG. You don't get paid, which is their native token. You don't get paid in OMI. So it's not like you stake OMI to get more OMI. You would stake OMI to get RNG. By the way, I'm going to ask the team this on the AMA tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good question, definitely for the team, and for viewers. I wouldn't get too far ahead of yourself and run over there and stake it.
Please don't do that. I haven't done it yet. And
it is very interesting. Just kind of talking about it, like the future of some of these platforms that will have protocols and staking and liquidity pools, like we've seen with Uniswap. Those come back, right? Because we're on the Ethereum blockchain. So we're going to see a lot of that. And I think that, mentioning this stuff now, talking about it early, gets it out in the open for viewers. Because I think we've all forgotten about liquidity pools a little bit. We forgot about For me, I'm doing the staking and kind of paying attention a little bit to the DeFi space for sure, and doing all that. So, but for most people, I think in the OMI community, most of us, there's a lot of new people that are new to it and maybe not understand it. But
And OMI might be their first token ever. I mean, OMI was one of my first cryptos, like one of my first 10 cryptos that I bought. So I mean, yeah, that's just something, food for thought, that once we're an ERC20 token on the Ethereum network, that you could use your OMI to make more money. Outside of the staking utility that the app's going to provide, which is going to have its own incentives, of course. But like me personally, I have like what I call a YOLO bag. Like I'll do whatever with it. Like I have an extreme risk tolerance with it. And then I have my OMI that I'm going to cash out on in the future. And then I have my OMI that's going to be set just for the staking utility program and all that. So it helps.
And that's a good strategy to have too. It's like when you're looking at like staking, farming, and liquidity pools, you definitely want to have, like Chris was saying, like sections. Like you don't want to just throw all your Ethereum, throw all of it in there, because there is good risks to doing that. Whether if it's a liquidity pool, there's what's called, impermanent loss, where, there's volatility in the market, and, you could lose a chunk of your earnings, or you could definitely lose some of that in the liquidity pool. Farming, I believe, is a little bit safer than, but you still have some risks there as well. But, usually, if you're doing like farming, it's more conservative. And usually it has like less gains, but it's something that people could look at in the future and maximize their OMI tokens. Because I know for me personally, and I know for a lot of people that have OMI, you just watch their channels, or you hear from them, you see them. I think they're in this for the long haul. They're not just here for a 3-cent gain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're there for...
Did you watch that video? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's great.
But like I think most of us are here for, significant gains in the long run. And I think most of us truly believe that, with the VeVe-verse and these burning mechanisms, that, that the token supply is going to be greatly reduced, and yada, 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 XYZ. But these are interesting topics to have. Like, what would you suggest, for people that are new to OMI and maybe don't even know what a liquidity pool is? Like, what would you say to them?
Honestly, for now, I would just, if you already have it, just hold it. And wait for the MCP article to be released, because I think for most users that already enjoy the VeVe app and experience, I think the best way to utilize your OMI is going to be what the team provides for utilization, which is going to be their own OMI utility. And the only thing, obviously, I know you know this, but for those watching, like the only thing we know for sure is like you are going to be able to buy NFTs with OMI. You are going to be able to buy accessories for your collectibles, and you are going to have 3 tiers of staking, which we don't exactly know what that looks like. But let's be hypothetical. Maybe if you have 50,000 OMI, you're on this tier. Maybe you have 500,000, you're on this, 1 million plus. Whatever tiers they decide to do, they're going to add utility with that as well. So I would just wait and use it for what the team decides to use it for. If you really felt like stretching it, or you have a significant amount of OMI, then I think it's good to have, something like a liquidity pool as another option. Because for me, I like my money to make money. I like my crypto to make money. I hold Cardano and I delegate it to different places. I have KuCoin. KuCoin's amazing. You get paid in weekly bonuses. I had Voyager, but I sold it to go all in on another crypto. But, just holding VGX tokens gives you like a 9% yield. Like, I'm really big on dividends. So, I mean, that liquidity pools are kind of my style, but...
Yeah, and they pay. It's like the stock market is like, here's a penny for every 1 billion stocks you own, and you're like, why am I even here? Like, or it's like your CDs at the bank. It's like they have such small, tiny little annual percentage gains, and it's like, or I could just stake my OMI for like way more gains over here. Obviously, that's not available yet, but in the future, that could be a possibility. And I think people will have their own strategies with that as well, because maybe they don't necessarily are super excited about master collectors, and maybe they're just invested in that OMI token and they want to maximize their OMI portfolio, and that could be an option in the future for sure. I don't know enough about the energy thing just yet, so I won't talk too much about that, but Maybe
Yeah,
that's something we'll definitely look into.
I just wanted to bring it up with you because like I know that you're involved with other cryptos and
Mhm.
and you've been in the space for a while. So I thought you would, nonetheless be interested at looking into it. Again, I have not done it and I probably won't do it. It's almost bizarre to me that like nobody's talking about it.
It is.
But
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, yeah, I think once they bring back like liquidity pool, I think I'll definitely do that on like a Uniswap or something like that. They've upgraded since then, since we've since the Ecomi team has like shut the liquidity pool down or whatever. Like after we migrate to Immutable X and all that stuff, and they get it back up, I think I'll probably participate. If they come out with a staking article, that might change my mind. Like if they're like, if you stake OMI, but I imagine maybe they'll have like their own official like liquidity pool or staking protocol thing, kind of like what Alluvium has. If you go to their website, like they have their own staking, super easy. So maybe Ecomi will have something like that set up. I'm excited for that if they do, because
absolutely,
it's super easy.
Yeah, passive income with OMI, like that's a dream for a lot of us.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So now that we are like in the advanced area, we've kind of talked to we went from like beginner stuff like to super advanced stuff like really quick.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. And I think most of the viewers here, like I think they're at that advanced level anyways. Maybe we'll talk later on, maybe or another interview or whatever, and we can dive into like how to download a wallet, like, or how to use MetaMask.
I made a how to set up a MetaMask video a couple days ago, and I've just been so involved in the Twitter Spaces and talking in Discords and Twitter DMs. I'm just used to like, I don't know, people that have been in it for a while. So like making that video is so difficult. Like I don't know, just like trying to remember like, all right, gotta do this to create a MetaMask wallet and gotta connect it here. It was weird to like rewind it back to step one, but a lot of people are gonna need that because like the space is growing exponentially. So like I realized that we got to go back to the roots for sure.
Yeah, well, like Immutable X, there's actually like extra steps like before you can even either like mint or use their protocol. Like you still use MetaMask, right? But like there's extra steps. Could you talk maybe like about Immutable X when you think about it? Maybe some of the nuances for people, because I know there's a huge lack of content for Immutable X right now, and a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, so I've been like hammering Immutable X videos because like, again, one of those things like, why are people not talking about this? Like Immutable X is huge. And like, I know you've made a good amount of Immutable X videos as well. Immutable X is going to be a layer 2 platform where it is a layer 2 platform where you can buy and sell NFTs gas free. Basically, the only thing you have to pay for is actually when you convert your Ethereum and put it into Immutable X, you're gonna have to pay a fee on that. But as far as like the basic transactions, I mean, fractions of a cent, for buying NFTs. If you're familiar at all, or even if you're not, if you go and buy an NFT on OpenSea right now, you're gonna pay between $100 and $200 in gas. If you go and buy an IMX NFT right now, if you already have ETH in there, you're gonna pay like maybe a couple dollars. The problem right now is there is not a lot of liquidity. There's only like around like 7,000 to 10,000 wallets on Immutable X right now. You can actually go to Immutascan and like verify like the volume and like how much is being traded and all that stuff. I use it quite often, but like our volume is relatively low. So I think a misconception that people are having with VeVe is that we need their liquidity to come in and we're going to boom. That's not as far as VeVe goes. I'm not talking about the OMI side of things. I don't think that's necessarily gonna be the case because right now it's the same 6,000 to 10,000 wallets controlling 50 plus projects, most of them being 10K generative art projects. I would argue that the liquidity isn't there yet, but you have massive influencers like Gary V posting about Immutable X. You have Alex Becker, saying, yeah, just stacked up on Moody Crows and Astro Bros, and it's like it's just a matter of time until like the masses come flowing in once they realize like how much of a treasure this is. And the beauty of it is a lot of VeVe NFTs are going to be able to be put on there. So if you noticed on one of the last drops, there was a girl with like a snake around her. Originally in the description, it said that this is going to be your NFT that you can actually take off of VeVe and put onto Immutable X and sell there. They actually changed the description later, like right before the drop. I don't know if you noticed that, Kyle. Because
I think I saw somebody screenshot it.
I was really excited when I saw it. I was like, oh, this is it. But I guess I was just like too soon. But anyways, you're going to be able to take stuff like that, put it on this platform, layer 2 platform, Immutable X, and people will be able to buy it with Ethereum, IMX, or I think there's like one other option right now or two other options to use. So you're kind of going to have like an introduction to different cryptos and stuff on there. And it's so easy. It's so effortless. And it's going to be like a new style of trading your VeVe NFTs.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the site right now. I got it pulled up so everybody can see, but there's already more and more since I first covered it, and probably since you first covered it too. There's just so many more projects on here now. I mean, like every day I log in and I look, like there's just more and more projects coming to the platform.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of these are, especially some of these, well, not all of them, but I especially in the future, though, there's going to be a lot of gaming platforms. And Immutable X has, for instance, Gods Unchained. There's Guild of Guardians.
Have you tried playing that, by the way?
No, Guild of Guardians or Gods Unchained?
Gods Unchained.
Yeah. I've played Gods Unchained.
I didn't really like it, but I don't know. I had some bugs when trying to play it, so I need to give it another try.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I liked it more when I beat people.
Yeah.
I didn't like it so much, but when I was losing. But as you can see here, like TikTok's on there, like some obviously like one of the biggest tech companies / social media companies in the entire world.
Yeah,
is on
crazy.
Immutable X. So it's crazy because it's like being on VeVe like in March, like all over again. It really is. Like these are just launching. Like some of them have taken off a little bit. Like Moody Crows took off, and since then the volume's kind of dried up a little bit. But it's crazy. But what are some of the other is there other tools that you utilize for Immutable X?
Immutascan mainly, that just shows every transaction, verifies it, and shows the volume. And then, of course, Token Trove, what you've showed in your videos. A Token Trove just allows you to be able to see sold listings very recently. It's easier to see exactly what sold. And it's also, unlike Immutascan, it allows you to sort rarities. So like, if you're in Moody Crows, I don't know much about Moody Crows now because I'm not involved with the community, but like say the crow with glasses is worth more. You can actually like pull up just the crow with glasses and see the floor with crows with glasses. Hypothetical example, but you know what I mean? Like if it has certain traits, you're able to filter through those traits and kind of see those floors. So that gives me encouragement too, because like when I go into projects, I like to collect like one thing. Like bad grandmas, for example. I like the grandmas with like the doggos on the shoulder just because like I think it's funny and I think it's meme worthy. And so like I have a bunch of grandmas with dogs on the shoulder. So like even though bad grandma's floor price is like pummeled right now, the doggo floor price still pretty much remains the same. So for me, it's like, oh, my floor is still standing, you know? So I know Token Trove is a very good resource though to use.
Yeah, absolutely. They have, it's just way more robust than the actual Immutable X marketplace, like right here. But I guess that's kind of like what Immutable X maybe wants. Like they're just like, hey, we're just we're mainly the back end. Like if you want to develop a Token Trove, like be our guest. And I think that's probably the direction that they're kind of going in, it seems like. But I don't know. Like that's what, at least my take on it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really odd how, lack of better words, bad like the Immutable X navigation is. I mean, it's not hard because like you only have like 3 tabs. But it's like it's weird that you don't have that option like you do on OpenSea. Because if you're on OpenSea, and you click on a collectible, it's very easy to see price history of that collectible, to be able to see who had it before you, charts and all this other stuff. But like Immutable, the platform itself doesn't really give you that option very easily. But Immutascan, I'm sure, is probably, I'd assume it's the same people, like the same team that runs Immutascan as Immutable X. I don't really know for sure. And then Token Trove kind of gives you that additional option. But yeah, it is kind of weird that it's not all just on Immutable X. But I mean, it's definitely new. It definitely has growing pains. And for those of you, like I know a lot of you watching obviously are into VeVe. A lot of people have been upset, because they're like, oh, they said that the migration would happen last month and it didn't. Well, sure, they probably shouldn't have put a hard date on it, like a hard cap. Immutable has been super slow with all projects. I mean, I've been involved with like 6 projects in the last few weeks. Every single one of them had a mint date pushback, even like the best of the best ones. Even one of the ones I mentioned, Bad Grandmas, recently. Bad Grandmas, their dev team directly works with Immutable team for it because they got, I think they got hired to do like certain positions. I don't know which positions they got hired for, and they had delays on their airdrops and on their launch and stuff. So it's like, look, Immutable is new. It has its own growing pains. So like, got to be forgiving in that area as far as like VeVe's migration there.
Yeah, it's definitely funny to hear people kind of talk about delays, but it's like that's kind of, that's what happens, you just don't know sometimes. There could be a back end issue, and I know with Moody Crows they had like a simple UI issue where you weren't when you clicked mint, you weren't able to mint off their website, but they got it fixed in a couple hours, or I think it actually took 24 hours or a day, but they fixed it. It was the very first one ever, like the very first generative project on Immutable X, aside from Astro Bros. Technically, Astro Bros, I guess, had their contract first.
Yeah.
Come to find out, but Moody Crows officially launched first. But yeah, so it is cool to see a lot of these projects and what they're doing and kind of how they will differentiate themselves from projects on OpenSea. And it's just so much better on this marketplace. Like even how terrible like the UI kind of is now. But like as far as the experience goes, like not paying gas fees is amazing. Like
It's insane, dude.
yeah,
It's insane.
like could you explain like how the flip? Because I know we have a ton of flippers on the VeVe app. Could you kind of tell them like what to expect when we hit Immutable X and how that's going to change the game?
Nah, because I'm flipping on there right now. I don't need more competition.
All right, sounds good.
Just kidding.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess we don't.
it's super easy, honestly. Like, the beauty of Immutable X is if I see something that I feel is worth even zero point 0.01 ETH more than it is right now, I can buy it and resell it for 0.01 ETH more. Without, because if I did that on OpenSea, it'd be useless because I'm paying 0.02 in gas. So like I'm in the negative if I do that. On Immutable, I take even small gains as a victory because it's like, oh, at the end of the day, I have more ETH than I did when I started.
Mhm.
And I think Immutable X is like going to breed flippers. And this is what I'm like trying to preach to the VeVe crowd. I don't know like the nicest way to say this, but when the migration happens, there's going to be a lot of noobs on there. And they're literally not going to really know how to operate and how to navigate. And that's okay. Like everybody's got to start somewhere. But like that's why I think and I'm preaching that it's so important to know this stuff right now. Because like I do think, strongly believe that Immutable X is going to blow up. Like strongly believe that. And when it does, like you said, it's almost like catching VeVe in March. Like, would you not want to be a part of that? Like when it does, and like being able to track these transactions, being able to see floors, being able to do flips and see liquidity, like all that stuff like that. To me, that's vital if you're in it for like to make money, obviously then they like, again, it kind of goes back to our conversation earlier. Like whales don't have to worry about this stuff because like they literally can just buy and hold. It doesn't matter. But like a lot of the working class, like the extra ETH helps a lot. If you can do a couple of 0.02 flips in a day, you can buy another VeVe collectible, at the end of the day. Like you just worked your way up to buying another collectible. So like it's just another avenue to do it once we get moved to Immutable X.
Yeah, no doubt. Like you said, it's another avenue, and it's going to streamline everything and make it better. And obviously, we will probably still just have the VeVe app. You can just do everything from your phone. Hopefully, pretty soon we'll be able to do it from a web app. And but with the amount of I suspect that's why they're delaying the web app so long. Is just because how new Immutable X is, and there's probably got to be so many different moving parts to that. And just seeing Moody Crows have a little bit of trouble. And I've seen a couple other Immutable X projects have trouble. And what I've also noticed, though, is the more it goes on, it seems like the more projects launching. So I think that they're cleaning up a lot of the problems they're having on the back end and streamlining everything. So I know we don't get to hear so much of that about the Immutable X side, but just witnessing like everything like that, it just seems like they're cleaning up a lot of stuff on the back end that we don't really notice.
Their Twitter handle is literally Immutable X hiring. So like they clearly need help, with the amount of influx and attention that they're getting. So I mean, yeah. I mean, Doge Pound is a huge project, and they released their Halloween edition on on Immutable X, and they had to delay their mint by like a week.
Yeah. So it's like one of the bluest of bluest chips,
right,
like
right.
had to delay, you know, and so it is what it is. It's part of the industry. It's a part of tech. It's part of coding, and all that. So it's the unseen things that we just don't know that can cause delays.
Absolutely.
I was going to let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's go ahead and pull up. I'm going to pull up the test net. Now, I don't know if this is. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys so you guys can see. But I did see and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm on the test net right now. And on the test net, you can see a lot of projects that might come. And it seems like a lot of projects on the test net end up on the main net. Like literally, like
I saw you make that connection in your video today.
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, Kyle, that's a good one."
Yeah, like Battle Factions is back there. It's on the main net now. I mean, a lot of these like crypto crappies. It's like those poop emoji things.
Yeah, I saw those.
But yeah, I saw Basie on the test net. So I wonder if they're gonna do something and I don't know if they're there anymore. I saw them the other day, but yeah, like I find that very odd, and I don't know if I'm the only one that is, obviously you saw the video and everything, but I don't know if you find that odd or not. What do you think about that? I don't see Basie on there anymore, but they were on the test net.
Might have found a leak. I don't know if this completely answers the question, but you got to remember that OpenSea is going to have a partnership with Immutable. So we don't know exactly how that looks, but to me, that's super bullish. So it makes me wonder, like, if how like blue chips like Basie or are gonna work if they're gonna work with Immutable. Clearly, Gary's involved. He tweeted about it. So I mean, if that happens, let me rephrase that. When that happens, I think you're going to see a significant growth in volume on Immutable. And we're kind of sitting here talking about it before it happens, like that partnership with OpenSea. Again, I don't know the details of that, but I know that it's coming and it's looking very bullish. And that's coming from people that are working along with it right now. So
yeah,
there's a good tidbit of information.
There's a lot of big names that have invested in Immutable X itself, like the underlying technology side and everything like that.
But the token's been killing it too.
Yeah, and well, there's like seed round investments, from like Gary Vaynerchuk and Sam Fried from FTX, the exchange. So so super big names in the crypto world. But what's going on? We got the Cray Mountain. We got a bunch of OGs in the house. Welcome everybody, Daniel, Remus. Yo, what's going on? Yeah, if you guys want to ask your questions too, we can go ahead and start getting to those. Justin says, "Is MCP going to play any role in driving the prices up?" He says, "I don't see it."
Of OMI or of the collectibles?
That's a good question. Justin, are you referring to the collectible side or the, OMI side? And thank you everybody for the sub, all the new subs. Thank you for subbing to the channel. Welcome to the, the OMI gang and I was saying the other day, Paw Patrol, because,
Paw Patrol.
The paws on the tattoo. I got that.
I respect it. I got a 14-month-old.
Exactly. And I kind of got influenced by Randy Chavez. He's got his Meow gang, so I thought
he got hacked today, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right, he did. So just so everybody's aware, his Twitter was hacked, so don't send him Ethereum or OMI on his recent tweet. I think it mentioned sending something. Don't do that.
You can send it to me and Kyle though.
I think he's working on getting his account back, but for the meantime, try to avoid that that tweet, and don't send any Ethereum, and don't send Ethereum to weird addresses that are like, send me 1 Ethereum and you get back 2 Ethereum. That's obviously a scam, and once you send your crypto, it's gone for good. So don't fall into those silly things. Phantom galaxies, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, same thing. Which is funny. I was gonna talk to you about this. I don't want to. I feel like I'm gonna look stupid on stream, but like it's a soul based game, right? So like, were they accepting ETH? Because like, if so, isn't that kind of ironic that they didn't even ask for the correct currency? Or,
yeah. Oh, I don't know if they were doing Sol. I thought they were doing ETH. I'm not sure. But
I thought that'd be funny if like they're scamming people for ETH even though they were Sol based. I haven't looked. I literally signed up, however long ago for the free airdrop on a burner wallet just in case it got hacked.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it. I haven't really been in the Phantom community.
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, there's a cool game that's gonna come out called Phantom Galaxies. It's like mech, so you got your mech suit and fighting other mechs and stuff like that. Their Discord got hacked, and they're making all these announcements like go mint here, but it was a complete scam, and their Discord got hacked, obviously. So yeah, but if you connected your like MetaMask or your wallet to their website, you're gonna get basically a free NFT. But unfortunately, they got hacked. I mean, they're still going to carry through. It's still gonna be a sweet game. But yeah, if you watch my Twitter, I mentioned that their Discord got hacked not 2 minutes. There was like some .org like website that is like. Who mints from a .org? Like what? I was like, what is this?
People get excited though, like they're like, oh gosh, only 7,000 of them. I gotta hurry up, and you just don't think like, oh, it's in the official announcements tab. It's got to be legit, and that's how people fall for it. It's really sad.
Exactly. So for those of you guys that are newer, and maybe you'll start getting involved in the wider NFT space and join these Discords. If you see these announcements and weird website addresses that are not for the official website address, and you start seeing like the other channels in the Discord like closed off to where you can't even chat in them, it's probably a scam. Like their Discord probably got hacked. You should ask questions, you should research, and you should go to Twitter and talk to experts in the field that hey, did they get hacked? And because some announcements, like you said, will say we're minting, there's only like 1,000, and people are gonna try. The first thing they're gonna do is try to rush to go get that NFT, but they don't know any different, and they get scammed. And it's unfortunate because some of those they'll mint more than one. They'll be like, oh, we're doing a limited time, you can mint 10, and that's like $3,000-$4,000 like down the drain. So
I don't know if you saw that 17-year-old stole $350,000 worth of ETH and then gave it back.
Yeah, was it Bears X? I think it was Bears X.
It was Creatures Toads.
Creatures Toads, that's right.
Creature Toads, yeah. Crazy, man.
Yeah, that's just wild.
17 years old. Insane. Justin did say collectibles.
Oh, he did say. So what's your thoughts on that? Master collectors.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna drive it down because like you're incentivized to hold. So I mean, it's like a game. Sorry, I thought at first. You finally have some type of like inner gamification in it to where every time you buy a collectible, hold it. If you have the entire set, to me, it makes it more valuable. I mean, like once I found out like for sure that sets did affect MCP points, I did complete some sets that like I didn't spend a ton of money. My strategy for that was if I already had the ultra rare or secret rare, I went ahead and just kind of completed the set, even if it wasn't like super desirable, just so I could get the points. Like Ultraman 2D set, I already had the Ultraman secret rare 2D. I never did complete the set because I was like, I'll just complete it one day when it matters. Well, it matters now because sets give extra points, especially if the set has more collectibles in that set. So I went and bought the rest of it. I probably wouldn't have bought that without the MCP article, rolling out. So I don't know. To me, it kind of gives you incentive to buy and hold.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe a hot question here. You don't have to answer it, or maybe you don't have to answer directly, but with MTL or the Crave Mountains asking with MTL and people, or let me rephrase it, I guess. With MTL and people being able to cash out, what's your prediction for the market? You think it will crash hard or boom?
I think it's going to dip. And I think it's going to be temporary, obviously. Like I believe the long term and all these collectibles will go up. Obviously not financial advice, but
real quick, we have Dan Schaubel in the house. Welcome Dan. Happy to have you on the stream. Appreciate you for being in the chat. For those of you guys that don't know, Dan, obviously a huge guy on Twitter, and just like he's got his own Discord. I'll bring up his socials in just a minute, but go ahead.
He also has an interview coming out with Gary V, where they directly talk about. I think he mentions VeVe. I'm pretty sure that's what his tweet said. But so that's going to be pretty exciting to watch too. So definitely, if you're not subscribed to Dan, like go subscribe to that or his podcast. For cashing out, I definitely think that it could lead to a temporary dip. You have a lot of people who are retail investors that are looking to get their money back that don't trust third party Telegram and Facebook groups and Discord groups. So like, I absolutely think that a lot of, or not a lot, but I think a lot of people are going to take that and run with it. I think those people fall under two categories. It kind of talks about what we talked about earlier. Like they literally just can't afford to keep on investing and buying and going into it, or they maybe don't have the time, so they're going to run with it, or they just have small vision. Because like, obviously, like I said earlier, like I do believe in the long-term hold of most or all the collectibles on VeVe, but I feel like it'd be a bit naive to say that there's not going to be certain catalysts that could cause a market dip. And one of those could be MTL. I mean, it could be. I don't know. I'm banking off of just like the same thing I did with the gym squeeze, which we talked about weeks before the gym squeeze. I plan on having liquid during MTL that if the dip does happen, I'm going to execute it. If the dip doesn't happen, oh well. Like to me, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Have gyms ready.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game is, having a strategy at the end of the day. Whatever your strategy is just do it smart, do it well, execute well, and don't question yourself. Go with your intuition, not financial advice at all. This is just entertainment, informational purposes only. But man, my gut was telling me in the beginning, to get the reso and all this other like amazing stuff. And I ended up not doing it. I was questioning myself too much. So I won't go into far detail on investment details because I don't want people to do the same thing I'm doing because
the beauty of me and you being here since March is that we know what it's like to have that gut feeling, not act on it, and then kind of like realize later that we should have acted on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people, and again, like you say in your videos, like we don't want you to take this and run with it because at the end of the day, literally anything could happen. The world economy could crash and all your collectibles could be worth little, but we know without a doubt that like we don't want to make that same mistake. And so when there's opportunities arises and we're able to, we execute it more. And it's like, you might not take us seriously at the end of the day because might be your first rodeo, but it's like we have that like fire in us, I guess now. And it's a beautiful thing, either one, being here since March, or two, just having that mindset of this is an opportunity. I know it's an opportunity. I'm going to execute this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and pull up your socials real quick, man. Could you tell people like what, when you got started on YouTube and talk a little bit about that and, what kind of, content you got?
So I was a Facebook gaming partner 2020. It was one of my COVID accomplishments. I said, you know what? I'm going to start streaming and I'm going to become a Facebook streaming partner. And I did. And then I realized that I was spending so much time playing video games that I wasn't being productive with like my future. I had my first baby. I got another one on the way now. Bigger life opportunities. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start using that time to do things that's going to be better for my future. So that's when I got really into stocks. Andre Jick was actually a big role model of mine because he started like making dividend videos. And I was like, wow, passive income, even though now it's like, okay, cool, 0.04% of, whatever. But I got into stocks and I got into crypto. And then I realized that there was just very little information about it. Like every time I would go to search something, it's like when I would watch videos, they wouldn't answer all of my questions. And I'm one of those people, I got to dissect something. I got to know everything about it. And if you're skipping over little steps, then like that can really affect me. So when I found out about OMI, I realized that there's nobody making content on this.
Mm-hmm.
Our VeVe and Ecomi. And so back in March, I decided that I was going to make a how to buy OMI video because there was, I think, one on the internet when I made it. And it was nothing against them at all. It was just, there was a couple of steps that were left out that I kind of struggled with. And basically I was like, I'll make my own video and I'll try to go over the steps that I struggled with. That way, maybe if somebody watches this video, they won't struggle with those steps. And from there, I started making, I made a, this is VeVe video, just introducing people to the app, showed off, my collection and stuff like that. And then I realized I actually enjoyed making content. I wanted to continue to do it. It helped people. It introduced me to people. It was really beneficial. And now I'm a monetized YouTuber don't get a lot off of ad revenue, but there's still that like little bit of extra ads that like is helpful. I mean, like straight up, like I feel like a lot of YouTubers might be like shy to mention ad revenue, but like it's cool that I put in these hours of work. I mean, I work basically 3 jobs. I own a coffee shop. I do everything at that coffee shop. I roast coffee for that coffee shop, and now I make YouTube videos, and I do a couple of other things as well. So it's like, and I'm a dad who's very involved in my daughter's life. So like I'm putting her to bed at night. I'm making YouTube videos. I'm going to sleep, waking up, going to work. Like, so like just to be able to get like a couple dollars from ad revenue is like, wow, I'm finally being like, I finally get something, for all this work. So yeah, that's that's probably the long-winded version of like where I am today. But overall, I really enjoy it. The community, I'm so thankful. Also, being a YouTuber like has introduced me to some people that I would have never otherwise met, and those people have really made an impact on my life. So I love where I'm at, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, I find myself, communicating to other YouTubers or content creators, and it just opened up a lot of doors, and it's fun, and like you're saying though, like I think a lot of parents out there can relate, or people that, work hard and have maybe multiple jobs. Like I think a lot of people relate to that, and like you're saying, the ad revenue or whatever, even if it's just a couple dollars, like you could use that to, win a drop on VeVe, or, turn that into gains, or invest a little bit into a crypto, like maybe, you have high risk tolerance and you want to throw it into a meme coin. I don't know, but like, that does definitely help. And I know you have actually a Patreon. Do you want to talk about that for like a second?
Yeah, I will. Also, I do want to rewind. I do want to rewind real quick.
Yeah.
When I was like 13 years old, I was watching, or I think I was a little bit younger than that. I was watching freaking like Fred on YouTube, and like other videos like that, and I think Smosh and like some other things. And I really liked YouTube. So like I did not really grow up with YouTube, but probably when around the time I was like 10, 11, 12, started seeing YouTube videos and really liking it. I started making my own. I mean, I made like stupid, like little ripstick videos, or whatever. So like, I think that desire to be a content creator has been there for me since I was a kid. So now that I'm an adult and have the money for equipment and the availability and the ability to do it, it's kind of like unfolding this dream that I've had since I was a kid to be a content creator. So so it does go a little further back than just this year. I mean, I was a kid thinking one day maybe I'll make YouTube videos, and now I'm making YouTube videos and making money, even if it's just off of like ad revenue. Like I feel like I fulfilled that part of my childhood dream, which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you for asking about the Patreon. So like, as I mentioned earlier, like I own a coffee shop and I roast coffee. So I was trying to think of a way, like last year I was like, I really want to launch an online coffee business to where I sell retail bags of coffee to people. And I never really got around to it because like so much stuff came up. I do kind of have a website, but I never really executed it. So I decided like, well, what if I just tied in YouTube and coffee roasting? So I decided to make a Patreon, and I have smaller tiers just for people that like want to support my channel. But I ended up making a larger tier, and it's $20 a month, and you actually get a physical bag of coffee. I don't have any right next to me right now, but you actually get a physical bag of coffee, like a retail bag of coffee that I roast, sent to your house, like shipped to your house. And I was like, because basically what you're getting is just like anywhere else online where you would get a coffee subscription, it's around the same price. It's around $20. You get all the other perks, but you also get a physical coffee bag. So now I can pursue my dream to also like obviously be supported off of YouTube, but continuing to roast coffee. I actually like during this like few week span, I had to take out a collateral loan, and unfortunately, they wouldn't let me use my VeVe collectibles. Like, come on,
dang it! Like, what are they thinking? Like, Walt's
know,
gonna,
like,
like what? Like,
like
Todd,
you want me to use my car for collateral? Like, Todd's
What?
worth like a hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's history.
But I got a big coffee roaster, a 13 kilo coffee roaster, so I'm able to roast like around 10 to 15 pounds of coffee at a time. I have a space for it now that is in the making that I'm renovating. And I also have a room there for a YouTube studio. So 2022 is going to be a lot of grinding, pun intended, of coffee and YouTube. And I'm looking forward to it.
That's cool, man. Because like, I thought that was so interesting. And, I'm thinking about subscribing myself, and I thought that was cool. And it's just like goes to show like we can all support each other. Right. And,
yeah.
But I don't know. I just wanted to highlight that because I like coffee and I think what you do is cool and it adds something new. You know, I
I
haven't
really
really,
appreciate that, man. Seriously, like,
yeah,
thank you for asking about that. I would have never shouted that out on your channel if you didn't ask me about it.
yeah,
I
because I'm
promise.
yeah, and to me, because I like I'm pretty savvy like on trading and all that. So you know that area I think I got covered. But you know the coffee, I think that's pretty dope. So I just wanted to give it a shout out to that. But yeah, so very cool, man. You said you had three jobs, or like you operate. What was that? You said again, you coffee shop and
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So like I'm a bookkeeper. I have to work behind the bar a lot. Right now it's hard to find help even I guess post COVID. We're still kind of COVID, but it's like one of those things like it's hard to find employees that like work consistently right now. So like I'm behind the bar all the time, making drinks all the time. I do like business deals. Um I'm roasting is its own job. I mean, it's right now I'm going off a 1 kilo roaster. So I can only roast like 2 pounds of coffee, like every like 10 to 15 minutes. And I mean, I'm having to roast 50 to 80 pounds for my shop a week, not counting all the people that buy bags. Cause I do sell bags for my storefront right now. And
mhm.
now I'm shipping them out to patrons. So I mean, it takes me forever to roast right now until I get this like bigger roaster set up. And my wife is also works pretty full time. She's a traveling professional photographer. So I'm home with my little girl a lot. So like I guess stay at home dad sometimes, and then on top of it, you know, making YouTube content, and as you know, staying involved with all the latest like crypto and NFT stuff, that takes a lot of time. Like I feel bad for how much I'm on my phone. Like I really do. Like we try to make it a point. I'm sure you can respect this. Like as are you're married with kids?
Yep,
You know, I try to make it a point like at supper time not to touch my phone. You know,
for
just
sure.
spend time with family. And it's hard when you get, you know, VeVe is doing a Twitter AMA right now. ILV is doing this. Kyle Willson just put out a video. This just dropped. David Hughes meeting with CoinGecko. It's like I gotta live my life, you know.
Yeah,
It's a
that
lot.
there's definitely so much going on, and yeah, definitely as a parent, like prioritizing is so super important, and it is tough at times, and you know it is interesting, and it is I think it's you know good that we talk about these things because a lot of the audience you know they think we're just like this is all we do, you know it's like
Right,
we
yeah.
don't make a ton of money off ad revenue, like we don't have 100,000 or 1 million subscribers, like we you know we have our own lives and it is tough, you know it is a grind and not no coffee pun intended, you know so but yeah, back on topic though, maybe we'll answer a couple more questions. I don't know how
Sure.
much more time you have, and I want to respect your time. We've been on stream for you know an hour and a half or 2 hours,
Oh dang,
so
I didn't even realize that. Crazy.
yeah so um Daniel Remus says, any thoughts on the long-term price of the stamp set? Could it be a sleeper hit or a sleeper hitter?
Yeah, I think so. I'm actually I don't I flipped the uncommon stamp off a drop for probably too low. But you know earlier when I was telling you like I'm anticipating some possible dips in the future.
Hmm.
Uh the entire stamp set is one of those dips I plan on executing. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that doesn't like fully answer that question, but like I would love to own the set and I don't right now.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I'm like, man, that's like the first like of its kind on the app in ever. So it's like,
Yeah.
I kind of want that, but you know, it's not like a must-have for me. Like, I'm looking at other stuff first, of course, and but yeah, it's like something. I kind of want that, but
Well, the ultra rare dropped to like 230, I think, during the Walt and Mickey gem squeeze. Like the squeeze that
mhm.
squeezes like right before Walt and Mickey when everybody wanted to try to get those 333 gems. It
Yeah,
dropped to like 230, and I was super tempted, but I for some reason I ended up not doing it.
yeah. All right. Well, like I said, I don't want to keep you too long, but if anybody else has any questions, go ahead and ask away. True Tech Junkie, welcome in, one of the
Yeah,
OG vault builders in
yeah.
the
True Tech
house.
makes some awesome vaults, man. I love watching like some. I don't have that level of creativity that he does and that other people do in the community, where they make these like really sick vaults. Like like I like my extent is putting them in my collection and kind of viewing them, and looking at them. But like the art that some of those guys do just like blows my mind.
Yeah, it's insane, and like I've been in the vault, and it takes a long time to get things perfectly situated, and I have so much respect for vault builders, and they like True Tech Junkie pumps out stuff all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah,
the time it takes to do that is it's obviously a lot of time. And I can't wait for the 4K showroom, by the way.
Right. Yeah,
It's gonna be so good.
those showroom upgrades are gonna like magnify how artistic these people are. Like it's gonna be mind blowing, honestly.
It might magnify them so much that I might have to do a VV art show
Yeah,
eventually
absolutely, that'd be
this
cool.
coming year. So,
But it
uh,
makes you think, like, even this might be a little deeper. We don't have to expand on this, but like in the Vverse, like looking at some of these rooms, like like imagine look at this room in like VR. It's gonna be like Tails made a haunted house the other day.
mhm.
And how cool would it be to walk through this like very realistic looking haunted house made with VV collectibles? Next year, next
So
Halloween,
spooky. I know there's a few
right?
guys out there that make some creepy stuff. Like
Yeah.
obviously True Tech Junkie, Mr. Falcon, Tales from the what's his name again? Tales from the
I don't know. I just Tales from something.
yeah, Tales
I
from
don't
the
remember.
Crypt or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it's insane. I can't wait. I know it's gonna be creepy. I can't wait for maybe the Bat Cave. I think that's gonna be pretty
Yeah,
sweet
that'd
too.
be sick. Heck yeah.
Last couple questions, maybe.
Sure.
March 2022 OMI price prediction. You have one for next year?
I'm not hard on price predictions, especially because so much of it to me matters on this utility article. The our trajectory is really dependent on how good this utility article is and what exchanges we're on. I know you know this, and I know a lot of people watching this knows this, but like, so it's really hard for me to say, like, are we going to be on Coinbase in 2022? Because if so, that's going to like 5x whatever price I gave you. Like, are we
Yeah.
going to be, or are we just going to be on like, are we going to be on Binance? Binance would be kind of the same thing. Or are we still just going to be on like, whatever? And then I mean, again, this article, like somebody asked me the other day, like, at what point will I stop buying OMI? Because like I bought like $50 worth of OMI during the last dip because like I had $50 in Bit4X, and I was like, yeah, why not buy more OMI? And it's like, well, if this article is like amazing and like the OMI is super desirable, I could keep on buying it, for years to come because like I might need it. If I can, I don't want to speculate too much, but like if I can stake my OMI in order to get like have a better chance of getting this collectible or like get some really cool stuff in the Vverse, then like why would I not want to keep buying OMI? Like if I need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so for me, price prediction, March, it's hard to say, like Chris was saying, because it could be, we could be on Immutable X and we could just see an endless sea of exchanges that, I say endless, but like, realistically, this is what happens when products are like ready to go. They just start launching all these exchanges. Like I've been in crypto long enough and seen this firsthand. So, if they do like go a Binance or a Coinbase, it could literally 10x, overnight from that. It obviously a pump and then dump because that's what happens sometimes on exchange listings. But I think a lot of it's going to come down to the burning and all that stuff is what mainly I'm focused on. So
The Voyager, by the way, just got put on Coinbase Pro last night or the night before.
Oh, wow.
And right now the entire market is obviously taking a hit. Meanwhile, Voyager went up 40% just by being put on Coinbase Pro.
That's so insane, man.
So just to give you an idea of what just like more volume can do.
Yeah,
and Voyager's huge. Like Voyager in itself, VGX is like Voyager is a big platform.
Yeah, and it's just, obviously people have a lot of access to Coinbase, and there's literally like professional setups that use Coinbase Pro and are like fully integrated into Coinbase. So yeah, if we get listed there, it's gonna be nice. We'll just leave it at that. But
and Reese still has. Well, we don't know about like what like I think he said when Taps asked him in the interview, like there's gonna be fun burning mechanisms. And these burning mechanisms actually have a chance to burn OMI directly out of the circulating supply. And if you know anything about OMI burns or circulating supply, that's a huge deal. The ones out of the circulating supply would actually directly reflect on the price. Whereas like right now, the burns we're getting currently don't reflect on the price because of the reserve wallet. So like, what are these fun OMI burns and like, will they for sure come out of the circulating supply? Like, I mean, that's a big difference.
Yeah, and like, if the reserve gets too low, they're going to end up having to buy back OMI anyway. So it could be a win-win situation. So we'll have to sit tight. And
I have a fun, I don't want to take up too much of your time too, but I have a really fun OMI speculation. like a fun theory. It's nothing more than a theory. So there's founders unlocks, like a couple times a year, May 9th, August 9th, and I don't know when the next one is. The team has never dumped OMI. Like you can go look at GoChain and see that they never dumped OMI. We know that in the Vverse that when you buy land with OMI, that is going to burn that OMI. So what would stop the team like David and Reese and Dan and all them from just being kings of the Vverse and just like doing a huge flex and buying a ton of land, knowing how successful the Vverse is going to be and having a significant amount of OMI burned? Like, I think that would be the biggest boss move in history. and I think it's totally possible. It would be similar to VB burning off, half the ship supply or something like that. But like, it would make total sense. I mean, David used Castle in the Vverse, I'm not saying they're going to use all their OMI. They're obviously going to take profits. Like they put more work in than any of us, and even content creators. They put in way more work than content creators. They want OMI to go up, and they want to cash out, and they want to be, well off, create generational wealth. There's still going to be more to spare, for that theory to come to fruition.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know if I've heard that before, but that would be, personally, I would love to see like Reese, Dan, and David and all the team and Trevor, like everybody have like the kings in the VV. I wouldn't care. Right. I'd be like, that's dope. Like,
that's the thing. Like, they could literally like, it's not like looking at them and be like, because that's the rich people. It's like, that's like, David Hughes Castle.
yeah. Like, we'll just real quick go to David Hughes Instagram and show people how crazy the guy's house is. But yeah, like I imagine David Hughes like house in the VVverse. Like that would be literally insane.
Yeah, somebody we know as a lifetime collector. So like, why would he not want to flex his land for his collection?
We have to go back so far now because he's been posting all the VV drops, but like his house is literally like insane. The guy obviously owns a collectible shop. Like it looks like he's got Banksy's statues in his house. Like PlayStation, like sent him the first PS5 in New Zealand.
I'm trying to look.
In New Zealand, and then let's see if we can find some other stuff. There's the Batmobile. When Batmobile? That's something we need to
absolutely
start asking. Forget when T-Rex. When Batmobile?
Dude, there's so much, like so many, not just IPs, but like characters and items from like like you said, Batmobile that have not been dropped yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's more Banksy stuff right here. Look at this. The girl with the bomb, the girl with the balloons. Let's see. I don't know if it shows like his, look at all the like he's got all these calls like gathered up right here. Or no, these are bear bricks, I'm sorry. Look at all those bear bricks like he's got. Just chilling with Ron English right there. Like,
I'm an idiot. I haven't been watching the stream because I heard it in the background, and then I realized I could just like mute my YouTube video so I can hear it.
Yeah.
Would have probably helped when we were talking about Immutable X and like you were viewing everything.
No, I mean, there's always the replay too. So
yeah,
I don't even know if this is his garage or not. That looks like Ron English's like place or something, but.
True Tech said,
look at this. He's got a picture with Stan Lee. Like, what?
That's actually amazing. I didn't know that. Dude, that's beautiful.
He's got a picture with Vitalik Buterin or Vitalik Buterin. I mean,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, like
you think they were in that picture like, hey, I have this crypto, OMI, and one day I want it to exist on your blockchain.
I know. I bet he pitched him. And it was like, hey, you want to invest in my company? I feel like
David would be the kindest person to pitch, like the least salesman-y person.
Oh, yeah. He'd be like so humble about it. He just seems like a super kind, humble, like human being,
For sure.
Let's see. Yeah, there's like, obviously there's the Ghostbuster statue, but like, let me see. I can't find the good stuff. Like he's got some crazy pictures or videos of his house with like all the collectibles in it, but you guys get the idea. Like it's gonna be like if he has something in the VVverse, it's gonna be insane. Like it's
gonna go all out.
And Dan is gonna be right there. Hopefully Alcon. I mean, forget a Walt statue. Like, your picture went dark, but
oh dang, my bad.
Yeah. So Oh, forget Walt and Mickey, like an Alcon statue and a David Hughes statue. That'd be dope. Obviously, it wouldn't go as, be as popular as the Walt and Mickey, but
My camera ran out of batteries. Don't worry, I got a backup.
you got a backup.
Yeah, get ready for this quality right here. It's coming.
Is it going to be CryptoPunks quality?
There we go.
Nice. All right.
This is March YouTube, Chris.
Heck yeah.
You see,
I like
see
it.
more of the house from this angle.
Yeah, yeah.
See my plan over there?
Absolutely. This is my fake plant right here. This is not even
nice.
real back here.
Dang, you got
never
roots out
watered
next
it.
to a fake plant.
Exactly. Yeah.
That one's fake too. It's okay.
They're easier to take care of.
For sure.
All right. Well, I don't know if anybody else has any questions or if there's any other topics you want to discuss, but
I thought I saw a question earlier,
yeah.
but I don't know. I'm looking for it.
See, I need an Oculus. Wish I wasn't made by the Zuck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get it. I want a Steam headset. So, what are those called again? Like just Steam VR headset. I don't know what they are.
Oh, I know what you mean. If you had to play Steam on, I've used one before. I don't know. I have the the Quest one, like the original. I don't use it as much as I would like to. I get real dizzy. So like if it's almost like a simulation ride for me. Like if I'm using it for too long, I just kind of get dizzy.
Yeah, a little motion sickness. But Crane Mountain, appreciate for the dono. Much appreciated. Also, Sean Greer, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. Kyle, what's your KD? Like, what's my are you talking about like Call of Duty? Like my KD on there? Because I don't know. I need to brush up on it. I haven't played in a while, but it's pretty good. I usually win my games.
You stream Call of Duty a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I stream with Trevor. As a matter of fact, who, for those of you guys that don't know, Trevor is like the lead content. What's the lead? Like basically anything on VeVe. Like he's head of the actual digital part of it. The lighting, the actual collectible, works directly with these studios and these brands and oversees like all of that. So yeah, I was able to stream with Trevor.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that you streamed with Trevor. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I saw that Trevor is like he's the one that's like 6'6", right?
Yeah.
I saw the decon photos. I was like, oh my gosh, he's huge.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Twitter and find a picture, but I saw him and like Wendy like they took a picture together, and he's just like resting his arm on her head because he's like so tall. I had no idea. I literally had no idea he was that tall. I got to pull it up
all you see
right
is
here.
a face on Twitter, like, so you really don't know.
Let's see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, so I streamed Call of Duty on Facebook gaming. That was like one of the things I streamed. I actually entered a couple of tournaments.
You still do that?
No, I literally don't have time anymore. But it was good while it lasted.
Yeah. Then that's the thing for me too, is like I'm just so involved in VeVe and NFTs and everything like that. So in my spare time, I'm usually doing this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's a picture of Trevor and Wendy right there. Look how tall he is. There's another picture with like all the other people, and he's like, just towers over them. But anyways, Trevor's a cool guy, man. You give him a follow. I think most of you guys are already following Trevor anyway. He's at that. I mean, he's got way more followers than I do. So that's for sure.
Yeah, he's like impressively tall. Are you gonna try to go to future events on VeVe?
Yeah, I think I will if they're, maybe hopefully they do something closer, like in like Kansas. I know there's a Comic-Con there, or maybe if they come out to Dallas or something, there's big Comic-Cons there. But I think they might stick to the bigger stuff. So like the New Yorks, the San Diegos, and things like that. But we'll see. I'm more than, this time around it was just too short notice, and I got to plan around that as a dad, as
Absolutely,
kids and all that. So, but I definitely want to go.
I would love to, definitely. So, especially if OMI moons, it's almost like a celebration, to use some of that to like go meet a bunch of the like early believers.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate like the amount of like pure joy that I heard from people. Like Reese just had this like constant smile. Basically, it kind of looked like a stress smile, but either way, it was like, you know, he's just constantly smiling. You know, like seeing people hyped up, because like we really are like all members of like a bigger picture, like a potentially like much bigger picture. You know, if everything comes to fruition, right? So like, I don't know, it's almost like a surreal experience, you know, like meeting other real life people that have had their life changed, or that just, you know, again, like it's not just the financial life change, but like you meet some really awesome people, your days look different, your social media usage looks different. You know, like the things you're interested in looks different. And in real life, I'm willing to bet you only have a handful of people that care about this stuff. So, you know, like from your day to day that you see. So like meeting up with this group of people that like get it, you know, like there's beauty in that.
There really is. And yeah, it's like, I try to mention this to like just my in real life friends or whatever, and they just kind of like laugh and they're like, oh, you still doing the NFTs? I'm like, haha, my portfolio is bigger than anything you have in stocks. And haha, like, so it's just interesting, you know, it's like, it's cool to see people get it. They get collecting and they see the value in it, not only in the crypto side, but the collectible side. So it's just fun. And, you know, it was interesting hearing like on Randy's stream the other day, I think it was Foster was talking about like, well, what happens when we get so big and, you know, you guys have 100,000 subscribers, like, he was like kind of talking about that a little bit, and I was like, well, it made me think, and I was like, oh yeah, that's like something good to talk about. But I'm like, at the same time, like I'm following pretty much, you know, the people I'm gonna follow on Twitter. You know, I probably should follow a couple more, but like he was saying, it's hard to get it to everybody, and it's tough. The more you grow, like in responding to everybody does become a challenge. But there's ways you can do that, like going to events. Like I know, you know, a lot of people in the community. I've seen them. I've seen their pictures, so I know who they are. Like I'm not going to forget, you know. Yeah. And you know, there's other ways around it. You know, there's the Discords. Like you get involved in. Like I have a Discord, and I'm not sure if you do, and a couple others. So it's like being there. You know, and there's ways to not get forgotten in the community. Yeah. So yeah,
it's weird because we're all growing together. So like it is, you know, difficult to, I don't know. I try to keep up with everything.
Yeah. And I was like, well, in the Discord too, like it's like the NFT projects do. You join early and you get like a special role. And, you know, I might do the same thing in my Discord, you know, where if the first, you know, 1,000 people that join it, or 2,000 or whatever the case may be, right? Giving a special role, and boom, like you know, I'm going to recognize everybody early right away just based off the role in the Discord, like, or people in the chat. Like I know everybody's like, you know, internet alias name now, like, yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about that for a second because I think you know, that was a good point he made, I thought, on the stream.
Yeah, I thought that conversation was very interesting. And I was there for it. I was in the chat as well. It's kind of funny. So I interviewed Foster Hill before he had a profile picture, and when he had like 300 subs. And
that's right. I remember that. Yeah,
this guy's really cool, you know, and he does know a lot about OMI. Because at the time, yeah. And now he is. I mean, he's getting bigger too. So it's just like, you know, trying to keep up with everything. But like you said, you kind of follow who you follow, and like we kind of know who's been around for a while, I guess, for lack of better words. But it is like, as the app grows and the community grows, and like I mean, we're all going to like potentially get bigger, honestly. Like, I mean, I say that, I do not try to say that from a prideful standpoint, but like, even though there's a decent amount of VeVe content creators, VeVe has not reached anywhere the potential that it will. Like, I think it's going to be part of mass adoption. There's going to come a day where a lot of people who don't care about crypto and NFTs are going to be buying VeVe collectibles. You know, those same people are going to be watching videos, you know, and we have potential to get like true mass adoption quicker than a lot of the crypto and NFT market. So it's just interesting, a cool topic, being some of the first content creators. And dude, we've talked about it before, but like, I respect you so much because like literally like me, you, Taps, Earth, and I think a couple of other people were like the only ones back in March that were like cared to make VeVe content. Like you said earlier, you know, that kind of resonated with me. we didn't have weekly AMAs. We didn't have as much Twitter influx. We didn't have much comfort besides our own intuition of that this is worth making content. What if VeVe was a rug pull and we made content about it? You know, like it would have sucked. But we still took that risk and did it anyways. We still took the risk of saying I bought a Todd McFarlane Batman or Nightwing or whatever, and I believe in OMI, and this is what it is. You know, back in March. So I don't know. I think there's some like sweetness to that as well.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, man, and I appreciate you too. And we actually connected early on, so this kind of interview and show, it's been a long time coming, and I think we meant to do this like months and months ago, and finally we're here. So
yeah, man.
It's been a journey and a ride, and obviously we message each other all the time. So it's so fun to to message you and bounce information off. We're always talking about VeVe and the wider NFT stuff. So it's going to be an exciting journey continuing forward, and everybody else, it's like we're all doing this journey together, the community, the chat, everybody on Twitter and everybody else. So it's cool. It's like a family, the Ecomi
it is. Yeah, it is. It's cool, man. I do want to say, I know that was a good way to end. Yeah. Back earlier, like talking about like in real life friends who like just don't believe in it, and you're like, well, my portfolio is worth this. I remember I had a flex back in March because like I did get Nightwing on drop. Nightwing was my first drop I ever went for on VeVe, and I sold it 2 weeks later for $1,200 PayPal, and that was my catalyst to like, look, there's real money, involved with this. Which as somebody who's involved with crypto and NFTs, when I say real money, I mean like real money, because like your cash devalues every year because of inflation, whereas my investments are going up. But like just to prove to friends and family, like there's credibility behind it. Somebody sent me $1,200 PayPal for this JPEG.
I always take pleasure in sending update texts to people I told VeVe or told people about VeVe and being like, yeah, Walt's 10K now. Like, hey, remember that Todd I told you back in March? He's 2.4K right now. Like, yeah, I love those little updates, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's like, this is just the beginning. Like,
well, it's just gems. It's just gems.
it's just gems. It's whatever. Don't worry about it. But like, yeah, it's funny. Like, people are like, when MTL? I'm like, look at everything like that's transpired, like, and led up to now. Like, they've delivered on everything, and there's the MTL delay, but I'm confident it's coming. It's like right around the corner. So
yeah.
All right. Well, man, it was a good interview. Thank you so much for coming on and answering all those questions, and thank you, chat, for tuning in as well and being amazing as always. Thank you all for the new subs as well, John M, Dr. Steez as well, and yeah, any final words, and where can people find you? Obviously, we pulled up your YouTube channel, but if you want to give yourself a quick shout out again, that'd be great.
Yeah, man. YouTube, I really appreciate it. Been doing pretty well, lately on the YouTube grind. And so you can find me there. I make a lot of Ecomi, VeVe, and Immutable videos, and other crypto and NFT videos. I'm very active on Twitter. Cverse8 is my Twitter handle. I'm there quite a bit, and I do have my own Discord as well, but that's just like, if you want to talk a bunch, then like I am, more active on Discord. You can find that through my Twitter. You can find all the other things like through my Twitter bio. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much our social. So Twitter, and then like I have like a little link tree at the top, and it'll show you everything else.
All right. Sounds good, man. Yeah. Find him on YouTube. He's Crypto Chris at YouTube. Let's get him over 3,000 subs. He's almost there.
Yeah, man. That'd be awesome. That'd be so, it's surreal, man. Like it is. Like I'm so humbled and blessed and thankful to be growing on YouTube, and, to be able to be on channels like yours and talk to the community. And yeah, I love it.
Sounds good, man. Well, I showed everybody your socials here on the stream. So, make sure you guys go ahead and give him a follow and show him some love. And maybe if you like coffee and coffee's your thing, he's definitely got the Patreon stuff for that set up. So, and also, if you want to join my YouTube membership, you can do that for actually less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, because those those Starbucks coffees are expensive, baby, but I'm sure your coffee is
yeah.
way better than Starbucks, right?
It is way better than Starbucks. I remember when I started roasting, I was like, even my bad roast will taste better than Starbucks. That was my motivation to keep going.
That's it. Yeah.
I started off my my roasting journey with a pan and a heat gun, and I would like wave the heat gun around and roast the green coffee like that. And here I am. Last week, bought a $13,000 13 kilo coffee roaster that roasts like 10 pounds at a time. So everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I would have I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm sure it's like a science, because there's a science to like everything pretty much. So, all right, man. Well, much respect for what you do. And yeah, man, like I said, thanks for coming on. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys at the blockchain in the next interview, in the next video. As always, be like an NFT and be authentic. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.